Why, hello there, kind sir. I like your spots. We're talking about mistakes today. Yeah, no, you don't make mistakes. No, we're talking about training mistakes. That's right. You gotta rub your mouth all over everything. We talked about that. Don't show everybody your ass. Why, hello there, endurance nerds. Did you just wake up, see a little sun outside, and suddenly remember that you're a cyclist? Maybe you dusted off the bike, opened up your training app, and thought, ah yes, I shall now become unstoppable. Cute. But before you start rage logging those rides like it's the Strava Olympics, we really need to talk. I've made hours of content on training fundamentals like how to build your base, improve FTP, recover like a pro, and fuel so that you don't bonk halfway through a ride and end up Googling, can I eat grass from the side of the road? But as I'm loath to admit, not every cyclist has watched these videos. And almost every cyclist has hit some sort of reckoning period in summer at some point during their training career where they realize that the pieces are not fitting together, sometimes to the point that they feel that their peak riding opportunities are being squandered. And since spring has officially sprung and the panic training window for summer fitness is wide open, I figured now is the perfect time to highlight the most common mistakes I see this time of year. If you hear one and think, hey, that's me, don't panic, I'll drop some full-length videos in the show notes down below to help you launch your personal intervention. But whether you're brand new to cycling or have been clipping in since the Reagan administration, I promise there's something in here for you that you either didn't know or you do know and you're currently ignoring because, reasons. You're a cyclist and it's spring. Welcome to purgatory. The trainer's getting long in the tooth, the roads are calling, and your fitness is either about to take off or is already lying in the ditch next to your winter motivation. The good news is that you still have a little time. The bad news, so does your training buddy who's been secretly doing hill repeats since February. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 10 most common mistakes I see cyclists make during this weird seasonal transition. Mistakes that will absolutely sabotage your summer performance if you let them slide. So if you're still just riding more and calling it a training plan, buckle in. This might hurt your feelings, but it'll also save your legs and maybe your pride. Let's start with the fantasy that base training ends in March. This is mistake number 1, and it's deeply delusional. Base isn't a checkbox, it's a physiological foundation. You don't finish it like a book and move on to the next fun book in the series like VO2 max and anaerobic capacity. And if you spent your whole winter bouncing between 40-minute sweet spot workouts and aimless Zwift races, congratulations. You've built the metabolic equivalent of a muscle car with a 2-gallon gas tank. Enjoy your sprints until mile 30. What you should be doing right now is continuing to extend your aerobic endurance, multi-hour zone 2 rides, steady pacing, and learning how to fuel and hydrate during actual long efforts. If your idea of an endurance ride is a 75-minute trainer ride with a banana and 1 bottle of water, summer is going to be very humbling for you. Building a true aerobic base takes longer than people want to admit. It requires hours at low intensity, the kind of riding that doesn't look sexy on Strava and doesn't feel like a workout unless you really understand the science. This is where mitochondria multiply. This is where your fat oxidation gets efficient. If you skip it or stop too soon, you're setting yourself up to plateau just when the weather gets good. Keep riding long, keep riding easy. You don't graduate from base work, you just build on it so your legs can handle the real fun. Now, mistake number 2, turning every ride into a threshold slugfest. I get it. The sun's out. You're outside again. You're wearing your favorite kit and you've forgotten what patience feels like. But if you're doing the hard intervals every time you ride just because it feels productive, you're not training, you're just stress testing your nervous system. And you're going to fail. Your legs might hold up for a few weeks, but your immune system, your sleep, your motivation, they're already filing HR complaints. Real fitness comes from consistent, well-structured training, not maximum effort every Tuesday, Wednesday, hell, any day that ends in the letter Y. You need high-quality intensity spaced out by actual recovery and aerobic volume, not just vibes and vanity metrics. Cyclists love to confuse fatigue with progress. Just because you're tired doesn't mean you're fitter. And the people who blow up mid-season, they're almost always the ones that went too hard, too early, and never really stopped. Your intensity needs to be periodized. Short VO2 intervals on one block, threshold work in another, with volume built around it like scaffolding. Throwing every single energy system into 1 week and hoping it sticks is like trying to write a novel by screaming random words at your keyboard. Usually some F words are involved. You need structure, you need rest, and you need to stop chasing KOMs like they're scholarships. So if your week looks like Tuesday Sufferfest, Wednesday Sufferfest recovery, Thursday FTP ladder, Friday coffee shop flex ride, Saturday race pace group ride, I have questions. Mostly, why are you like this? Mistake number 3 is pretending that you're training for fun because you haven't actually chosen a goal. That's cute, but let's be honest, you do want to get fitter, you do want to feel strong, and you definitely want to crush your friends on that one climb you all pretend isn't a race. So stop being vague. Pick a goal. It doesn't need to be a UCI sanctioned event. It could be as simple as I want to ride 100 miles without dying, or I want to improve my power to weight so I'm not getting dropped every single time the gradient bumps up past 2%. You need something specific to build toward because otherwise you're just wandering through workouts like you're lost in a power zone forest without a map. Goals don't necessarily need to be some externally a competitive benchmark. Perhaps it's holding threshold for 40 minutes instead of 20. Maybe it's mastering a technical descent without crying. But if your current plan is just ride, harder ride, random group ride, and repeat, you're not building anything. You're just collecting miles like digital Pokemon cards. Don't get me wrong, I am not in any way saying that the person who rides a bike for fun and exercise is wasting their time. I'm saying that even the simple incorporation of cycling into a lifestyle long term, it's going to necessitate a means to continue that cycle of desire. Goals give your training purpose. They anchor your decisions. Without them, every ride becomes a negotiation with your feelings. And spoiler alert, your feelings are lazy. And that ties straight into mistake number 4, doing random workouts with no progression. I'm going to call this Netflix cycling. You open up your app, scroll through the workouts, pick the one that looks spicy, and go. That might be fun for a week, but your body doesn't adapt to novelty. It adapts to progressive overload. You need your workouts to build on each other. Start with short intervals, increase the duration, reduce the rest, build volume, add complexity. That's how you train. If you're doing 3 by 12 minute sweet spot one day, a random sprint ladder the next, and then throwing in 4 by 5s just because the interface said it was productive, doesn't make it productive training. You're gambling. And the house always wins. Progression isn't just for elite riders, it's for anybody who wants results. Your energy systems need repeated stress to adapt. Your legs should expect the next step in the sequence. When you don't build on previous workouts, you stay stuck in maintenance mode, and the only thing you're maintaining is mediocrity. Write down your key workouts, look at the structure, ask yourself, am I building towards something or just keeping myself entertained? Mistake number 5 is abandoning strength training the moment it gets warm. Every year, cyclists drag themselves to the gym all winter long, doing their squats, their deadlifts, building stability and power, and then they drop it the minute the weather improves, as if their muscles are like houseplants and will just maintain themselves with water and sunlight. They won't. Your body will adapt to whatever you do the most, and if what you're doing is only cycling, you're becoming really good at sitting and pedaling in one direction while ignoring every other muscle group that holds your spine together. Strength training, it's not just about power output, it's about resilience. Core strength keeps your position stable. Glute activation protects your knees. Posterior chain work reduces your risk of low back pain, hamstring tweaks, or whatever fresh hell pops up when your volume spikes in the summer. As little as one 45-minute session per week is often enough to maintain the adaptations you've earned in the winter. And no, I do hills doesn't count, unless those hills include a barbell and not crying. Speaking of crying, let's talk mistake number 6, sticking to the trainer when you should be riding outside. I love indoor training. It's efficient, it's controlled, it makes data nerds feel like gods, but it does not teach you how to descend at speed, how to manage wind, or how to handle your bike in a pace line. And no, your FTP doesn't mean shit if you can't hold a line without taking out half the group. Outdoor specificity matters. Your big summer ride will not happen in erg mode. Riding outside builds real-world fitness, like how to ride hard in imperfect pavement, how to modulate effort on rolling terrain, and how to corner without gripping your brakes like they owe you money. If you wait until June to get used to your bike in real world conditions, you're not training, you're just cosplaying as a cyclist and hoping it all works out. Start now. Transition your intervals to outside. Relearn how to fuel with gloves on. Practice changing a flat because yes, it's coming. Let's move on to mistake number 7, neglecting recovery. If your plan is to train until something hurts, you're not an athlete, you're a cautionary tale. Your body doesn't get stronger from workouts. It gets stronger from adapting to those workouts during rest. But for some reason, cyclists treat recovery like it's an optional side quest. One day off per week isn't laziness, it's strategy. One recovery week every 4 to 5, that's not weakness, that's where your adaptations are actually going to consolidate. And don't even get me started on sleep. If you're trying to improve endurance while surviving on 6 hours and 3 coffees a day, you're basically power washing your mitochondria into oblivion. Here's a radical idea. Track your recovery as seriously as your watts. Use things like HRV or track your morning heart rate. Monitor your resting fatigue. And if your legs feel like cement, your sleep is trash, and you're snapping at your coworkers like a caffeinated gremlin, you don't need another tempo session. You need a nap and a protein shake. Rest doesn't just prevent burnout, it's the magic that makes your training actually work. Now, mistake number 8 is chronic underfueling. This is the one that separates the smart cyclists from the ones who think riding fasted will make them lean, fast, and Instagram shredded. Spoiler, it won't. Underfueling during training is the fastest way to blunt your adaptations, kill your hormonal balance, and leave you dragging your ass through every single ride wondering why your watts are failing even though you're trying so hard. Eat before, fuel during, recover after. Carbs are not the enemy. Bonking on a 60-mile ride because you wanted to earn your brunch, it's not a badge of honor to cry for help. Your body is a machine. You wouldn't starve a car and expect it to win a race. So why do you do it to your legs? If you're doing a 2-hour ride with intervals, you need at least 60 grams of carbs per hour. More if you're pushing hard. That's not weakness, that's science. Fuel the work, protect your immune system, train your gut, and please, for the love of glycogen, stop thinking you're going to burn fat while you're riding tempo on an empty stomach. All you're burning is your performance. Mistake number 9, worshiping FTP like it's the holy grail of fitness. It's not. FTP is useful, it's a good benchmark, but if your entire self-worth and training plan are anchored to a single number that you got from a 20-minute test while holding back tears, you've missed the point. Training for performance means developing systems, anaerobic capacity, VO2 max, muscular endurance, neuromuscular coordination. You need more than just threshold. FTP tells you what you can hold. It doesn't tell you how many times you can surge, how well you recover, or whether you can produce power when it actually matters. FTP obsession also encourages people to treat every single ride like a test. Did I beat my numbers? Did I hold my watts? Chill. Not every ride needs to be a benchmark. Not every effort needs to be validated by a graph. The right questions are, can you ride smart? Can you respond to attacks? Can you recover between efforts and go again? These aren't FTP questions. They're real-world cycling questions. And the people who train for those tend to win more, even with lower threshold numbers. And finally, mistake 10, the silent killer is waiting for motivation. Motivation is cute, it shows up when the weather's perfect, when the coffee hits just right and your favorite socks are clean, but it disappears the moment life gets busy, your legs feel heavy, or your cat gives you that judgmental look before your ride. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is not. And right now, today, it's a time to choose. Not next week, not after you finish reorganizing your garage, now. Because every high-performance summer ride you fantasize about is built on 1,000 boring spring decisions you are making when nobody's watching. Set your ride schedule. Commit to it. Show up a little tired. Show up busy. Show up when it's windy and you don't feel like it. Because summer fitness isn't built on hype, it's built on habit. The people who show up now, they're the ones flying past you in July when you're checking your heart rate and trying to remember why you ever bought that Aero helmet to begin with. So let me know, which mistake hit you the hardest? Which ones are you secretly making right now? You've got time to turn it around, but not much. Like this video if your legs have ever filed for early retirement mid-ride, drop your spring goals in the comments, and subscribe if you want to keep hearing the truth about training from someone who cares enough to roast you out of your comfort zone. Summer's coming, and it's not going to wait for you to get your act together. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.